Folks, adding to the list of things that will have you shaking your head at the absolute absurdity of the modern left. The WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, has just announced, well, the post millennial is calling it an emergency meeting on male participation in the league. That's right, men in the Women's National Basketball Association. Let that sink in. Here's the deal. After Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham had the temerity, the sheer unapologetic common sense to say she wants to protect young girls from competing against biological men, the woke brigade lost their collective minds. Protests, criticism from coaches and executives, the whole circus. And then, for the Pisa de Resistance, two former NBA players, Ennis Cantor Freedom and Royce White, decided to call the league's bluff. They declare themselves eligible for the 2027 WNBA draft because, get this, they identify as women. Or in White's case, sometimes identifying as a woman. Sometimes. Folks, the satire writes itself. So Commissioner Egbert fires off a memo to the teams. She says the topic of transgender athlete participation will get significant attention, and they'll discuss it further next week at a meeting of team presidents and general managers. She talks about approaching it thoughtfully, respectfully, aligning with the league's long-standing values, and of course, preserving the integrity of our game and ensuring fair competition. Fair competition in a league whose collective bargaining agreement says only players who are women are eligible, but then doesn't bother defining what a woman is. Brilliant. That's the problem, isn't it? When you let self identification override biological reality, you open the door to this exact farce. Cancer and White aren't confused. They're exposing the logical endpoint of this ideology. If declaring is enough, then any 6'10", 250-pounder former NBA big man can just say the magic words and start dominating the women's game, taking roster spots, scholarships, titles, everything women fought for. And the players' union, they released a statement embracing justice, equality, diversity, and inclusion. Right. Warning against hate, abuse, and demonization of transgender people and insisting they will not be used as political pawns. Oh, please. The real political pawns are the actual female athletes being told to shut up and make room. Sophie Cunningham gets blasted for stating basic biology, while some coaches are out there saying every kid has a right to sports no matter what. Not if you suck, folks. Maybe in T-ball or in the very remedial stages, but after a while, you have to make the team. There are tens of thousands of guys, millions of guys out there that rode the pine and never saw the need to pluck and tuck to get a spot on the girls' team. And don't come at me with human rights issues. Protecting fair play for women is the human rights issue here. This isn't complicated, folks. Males and females are different. Puberty gives males permanent advantages in strength, speed, bone density, advantages that don't vanish with hormones or a declaration. Title IX was about creating opportunities for women, not erasing them. The WNBA is supposed to be a showcase for the best female basketball players in the world. If they allow biological males to compete, what's the point? Just call it the NBA Development League and be done with it. Of course, the ladies aren't going to like the G League. Their base salary is $45K for a 6-month season. That's 6 times less than the WNBA base salary. Egbert and the league are stuck. They can't fully embrace the open border gender policy without destroying the product, and they can't slam the door without the activist class screaming bigotry. So they kick the can down the road with more listening sessions and important conversations. Typical. Ladies and gentlemen, Reality is not bigotry. Bigotry is not hate. Women's sports exist for a reason. If the WNBA wants to survive as something more than a progressive social experiment, they better figure that out fast before the next wave of sometimes identifying NBA castoffs show up with their draft declarations. This is where we are today in America. We'll be back, and we hope you will too.